Welcome to the Soundtrack Exchange, where my co-host Christelle and I exchange songs from movies, video games and television soundtracks, and then chat about them. How about that?
Each episode, Cameron and I will give each other a song to listen to and talk about the details, the history, and the reasons why we think our chosen tracks are so awesome. So buckle up and let's get exchanging. Yeah, get it all out.
I'm wheezy because I've been jogging. I've been yogging there the last 2 days.
Oh, how far?
Oh, not
do you
far.
jog? Oh,
Not far. just getting out there first and foremost, and building towards a half marathon in February, but not doing it yet. No,
that's a big one. The half marathon. Where I am in my fitness journey is I'm still waiting for the like threshold where exercise makes you happy. It hasn't happened yet for me. I hate running.
Running
don't like cardio. So like at what point, where are the endorphins, you know? Where are the endorphins that Legally Blonde promised me?
Yeah. I think there are other avenues one can go down that aren't running. But running is the most effective, I feel. And that's why I'm leaning into it.
This episode's theme was just recent obsession. So like specific tracks that you and I have just been listening to a lot lately and we just want to share. So like no like specific theme. But as fate would have it, there is a connection between our two tracks. And
between our two tracks.
And that is Gerard Butler.
So he's in your linked media.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Okay. Allegedly, okay, hold on. Let's just dive right in because I have too many questions now. So we'll start with your one because mine's obviously Gerard Butler related. But
yes. Mine's maybe a little less obvious. Gerard Butler.
And yours, oh no. So yours is Test Drive from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
I will say that I absolutely loved it.
Isn't it so good?
It's so good. Again, recognized it from TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like those things where a drone goes out into like the Colombian mountains or Swiss Alps or something, and that's what plays.
The ones that I have seen is like going through a tunnel and the music starts, and then as you're coming out of the tunnel and the light, camera adjusts to the light, you see the mountains, and that's when the like big part of the song comes on. And
I think
I have chills just talking about it.
I think it starts with like Welcome to Jurassic Park, and then it changes to that one. Because it actually is more epic than the Jurassic Park music. I think so.
That could potentially be a controversial take.
Yeah, well, I don't care. So come at me. Don't at me and come at me. Tell me about the song and John Powell and why you like it.
Yeah, so first and foremost, full disclosure, I have never actually seen any of the 3 How to Train Your Dragon movies. And I swear I have a good reason for it.
Okay.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Just because you're, I don't know. I have friends that
because I'm an adult.
Yes. Like I wouldn't be like, okay, it's 7 p.m. I'm having my dinner. I'm going to put on How to Train Your Dragon on the television and watch it with a glass of a rowdy rouge wine, you know?
That's where you and I differ. I love a good animated movie to accompany my
I've heard it's very,
rouge.
very good. I've heard it's very, very good. A rowdy rouge. Yeah.
I also have heard it's very good. An ex-boyfriend of mine, it was his favorite.
Shame and shame.
It was his like favorite movie. And I never watched it. And even to this day find it hard to overcome the desire to not watch it in order to watch it. So not even for this podcast did I decide to watch it. It's fine. I'm a Scorpio. But I've heard it's a very good movie. It's a tale of dragons.
Mm-hmm. Not the
Humans
Game
and
of Thrones
dragons.
dragons now, or not
No,
even the
no,
Hobbit dragons or Harry Potter dragons. These are
no. These are
Teddy dragons.
animated.
Yeah, a little more smoother.
Less CGI. I don't
Yeah.
actually know what the logistical process is of making these movies. If it's still animation or like hand-drawn animation or
Oh, I
like
think those days
CGI.
are. I think if hand drawn is very much a niche industry these days. Even the ones that appear hand drawn, like Family Guy, I don't think is hand drawn anymore. Could be definitely wrong. Could be definitely wrong about that. You can tell by the way they move. Say again, sorry.
I never watched Family Guy either.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
No.
Big fan over here. Anyway, go on with your thoughts.
Yeah. So the premise of the movie is that there's this like ancient kingdom. I don't know. The fantastical kingdom, very Viking, Celtic origin kind of thing.
I can tell by the music.
Yes, they're warring with the dragons. And so something happens and one of the dragons gets hurt. And so the son of the leader of the like Viking island people ends up making friends with this dragon that got hurt in the attack. And so he builds this contraption to help the dragon fly again. And so that is the like this specific test drive track is that they are testing out this device to help him fly. Yeah, so there's the like fantastical this whole bit is just gonna have a lot of fantasy in it.
Yeah, good. That could be the theme for today.
Fantastical fantasy.
Fantastical fantasy fantasy movies.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good title for good title for today's episode.
Yeah.
I totally lost what I was going to say. Oh, so there's like the element of where you can like hear just, and we talked a little bit about this when we discussed Everybody Grab a Broom, but like the music makes you feel like you're flying and you're with Hiccup and is the
Don't feel obliged to like talk about the movie if you haven't seen it.
No, okay. Hiccup is the son, the guy, and Toothless is the dragon. So you're like with them flying, and then there's an element of danger in like the device isn't working properly, and then he loses his like guide paper. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I did watch this specific scene. Okay, because I felt that it was important, and he loses his like guide paper for the device, and so then that's when you can like hear the danger in the music, and then you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Yeah. And then he like recovers because it was all in his heart, you know.
Yeah. You can hear the modulation in the middle. I did hear the danger. I only listened to audio only, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So in general, just a beautiful track. I haven't listened to the whole soundtrack that much. You know, I do think it's time to let bygones be bygones personally, and maybe sit down and watch it, only because it is probably such a good movie, you know?
Yeah. No, I've heard it's great.
Yeah, so John Powell wrote the music.
Is he famous for others?
He's famous for so many others. It's like wild when you look up these composers and then look at what else they've done. Yeah. I feel like every time I saw something, I was like, oh my God, I know that. I know that movie. I know that movie. And then just the like lines connect. So he is British, but is half like part Scottish. So that's where the like
bagpipes
and not flutes, but kind of.
No, pipes. Yeah, no, there's pipes. They're played in a Celtic way, but they're not pipes. Yes. There's a flautist in there somewhere hiding.
Yes. He went to school for music, and then after college, he got a job with Patrick Doyle, which I'm sure you will recognize that name from the Goblet of Fire.
Yes.
But he has worked with and collaborated with so many other composers. He worked really closely with Hans Zimmer, Harry Gregson Williams, all of that. He was actually nominated for an Academy Award for this movie, for How to Train Your Dragon.
Ah, okay.
Don't think he won. Or else I
What?
would say that he won the Academy Award.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think nominees have a lot of prestige if they're just nominated.
Oh, it's an honor to be nominated, you know?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he really, for this specific soundtrack, was very influenced with the like Nordic, Celtic. I know Sigur Rós has a track towards the end of the soundtrack, and you just hear it. It's like I don't know. It's just a wonderfully vibrant track. Simple, but like not in a bad way.
It's like Disney, but it's not Disney.
Yeah.
I know it's DreamWorks, so they would
Yeah.
like perish the thought of that, of comparing and contrasting, but it's very it's very unique, I find.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a whole, he has composed or at least worked on 9 different DreamWorks films. So, you know, over the years of following composers and different soundtracks and all of that, I've noticed a trend in like different animation studios tend to favor specific
people.
Yeah, composers like Pixar. Michael Giacchino does a lot of the Pixar movies, and he's incredible. We'll talk about him at some point. But I think specifically for DreamWorks, I think John Powell is like their guy for films.
That'd be a great money maker, wouldn't it? Hey, John, we got a new DreamWorks movie. You available? And he's like, yeah, it's literally how I feed myself and my extended family. I'm jealous.
Yeah. So there you go. It's a great track. Yeah. There you go. The Gerard Butler connection. He voices the like chief, the like leader of the.
And is the chief Scottish?
Father.
Yeah. Hiccup Senior.
I have to imagine that he is. This is going to sound like a really dumb question. Is Gerard Butler Scottish?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Although, unfortunately, there's a movie called P.S. I Love You, based on a very famous Irish book, and he plays an Irishman in that. And
was it bad?
Oh, yeah. It probably wouldn't be too obvious for an American, but to both a Scot and an Irishman, incredibly off, unfortunately.
I watched that movie once and absolutely sobbed through the whole thing and never watched it again.
Yeah, I did the same for The Deer Hunter.
I've never heard of that. Is that also a Gerard Butler film?
No, it's a movie about the Vietnam War. It's
okay. Well,
it's also harrowing, but for different reasons.
Very different. This can transition into your track, but my favorite Gerard Butler film is Phantom of the Opera.
I've never seen it.
Which also might be a bit of a controversial take because he is like he's not known for his vocal
prowess.
Yeah.
Does he do a terrible job?
No, it's actually lovely. I mean, I think it's lovely.
Yeah.
But I think there's also like a sentiment, like I feel sentimental about that movie. But just like as a whole. Also, it doesn't help that he's beautiful. Or it doesn't hurt. It helps. It doesn't hurt that he's beautiful.
It helps, not hinders. And he still is. Saw him there last week talking about Scottish rugby for the World Cup, World Cup. And he was still looking well. Probably.
I'm mixing him up with another actor. I know there was an actor recently who used to play rugby and would come on and talk about the World Cup. I want to say it was Gerard Butler.
I'd say he did. He's a big rugby fan anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're a rugby fan, you would have played it at some stage. As we all are, especially our American audience.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, my go.
Yeah.
Speaking of
being beautiful in a film.
Yeah. Here I am. No, Gerard Butler. Yeah. So the song that I chose for you was Returns a King by Tyler Bates, the composer which was part of the original soundtrack for the movie 300, directed by Zack Snyder. One of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it all the time. I know all the words.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I probably couldn't recite it. I could give you the scene, the play-by-play scene, but it's one of my favorites. It came out, I think, God, what was 300? I'm going to say 2006.
What a year for film.
Nailed it. Year after Batman Begins as well, which is absolutely irrelevant. But it's one of my favorite. It's a very choral song. Oh, firstly, hold on. What did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, I have seen 300. I have actually watched 300.
300 times?
Listen. No. But I do. I have always enjoyed it. Also, just because I think at that time it was so different, like cinematically.
It was so iconic. Yeah, it was so unique and everyone loved it. And
yes, which now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally a Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
It like makes sense. But it's a very epic track.
Oh yeah.
It's called Return of the King? No, the King.
Returns the King. It's when he goes out into there's a thing called Ugogi, where all of the Spartan children go through like essentially torture to become really, really hard soldiers.
Yes.
And their last task is to go out into the forest and kill a big wolf. And you have to come back wearing the wolf's pelts or something. And that's what Returns the King.
This isn't like grown Gerard Butler. This is
teen Butler. This is teen Butler. But he returns a man.
Teen Leonidas.
Yeah, so the tail end of teen, if you get me. Yeah.
Because that was going to be one of my big questions for you is like, where was this track? See, now I kind of wish that I had asked you that before, because I feel like now listening to it, I'm like, you can tell that somebody is returning from something, but I couldn't quite remember the context of this specific track.
So the chorus comes in quite loudly when all of the people are bowing to him on his return, because they're like, okay, he's killed the wolf. He's a man now. He will lead us as King Leonidas.
Aren't you so glad that we don't have to do that anymore? Like I would
bow to kings,
but that you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
prove you're a man. Go kill a wolf
to prove that I'm a man. Would have done me some good. Definitely would have.
Hard soldier.
It would have. Yeah, it would have made me grow up a lot sooner. But I don't think I could kill a dog anyway. No, do you know what? I'm torn. But yeah, and also the Spartans did a lot of other questionable things that I would be happy not to have part of my day-to-day these days. Anyway. So the reason why I chose the song, obviously it's one of my favorites. I just had it recently on my playlist as well. There's a very funny story about that composer, Tyler Bates, that soundtrack. Bit of backstory about young Tyler, who is 59. Same birthday as me, 5th of June. Shout out to all you Geminis. So he's a music producer, but he's also he's in the band Marilyn Manson. I don't know them.
Yes.
But I know the name.
Yeah. Not a great
not a great band, not a great composer either.
Not a great gosh, what is the word that I'm looking for? Reputation? Like the person Marilyn Manson? Is there a difference?
Yeah. I think he is,
because the person is terrible.
Yeah, so I thought Marilyn Manson was so it's a band and a person. So he's one of the he's the lead guitarist of that band.
Okay.
Why did Marilyn Manson get cancelled?
Yes.
Did he? Missed that.
Google it sometime.
Okay, I will after this show.
Yourself.
Yeah. I knew he was batshit crazy, but
weird guy. Yeah.
Anyway, so this is funny. So he has done he's done a fair few movies.
He has.
Mainly Zack Snyder. I think he did the
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy as well for James Gunn.
Very good soundtrack.
Yes. More good for its songs that are chosen more than
the mixtape songs.
Exactly.
Yes, I will agree with that. Yeah.
But that song, Returns a King, among another two on the album, are ripped directly, not directly, but very obviously, like to another movie called Titus, starring Anthony Hopkins, and the composer of that one is called Elliot Goldenthal.
Is that who Elliot Goldenthal is?
That he's a composer, yeah. But if you listen
ask
after this call, or if you want to listen after this podcast interview, after this meeting, we take it offline. There's a song called Victorious Titus, which I'll send to you, and listen to the first 10 seconds or 15, 20 seconds of each, and you will be blown away by... Yeah.
Tell me what I'll be blown away by. Sorry, I apologize.
No, but you're just going to say, because if you look at the credits for Returns a King,
it explicitly says based upon themes by Elliot Goldenthal. So that was literally one of the questions I wrote down: is who is Elliot Goldenthal? Why are there so many themes based? Why are there so many tracks based upon his themes?
Because Tyler Bates,
you answered it.
Yeah, he wrote an entire feature film, like I think it was Warner Brothers that made 300, like a huge thing. I
believe so, yeah.
And that got approved, which is baffling to me, because obviously your man Elliot was like, this is just exactly my music that you've rejigged.
I wonder if the Titus movie is a Warner Brothers film, and that's why.
Oh, that's a very good.
They kept it in the studio.
No.
Oh.
Titus was the... Sorry, let me just check this quickly before. So, so Titus was Fox Searchlight Pictures, which is kind of like an indie version of 21st Century Fox movies. And then Buena Vista International, which is UK and Ireland. And then Medusa, which is Italian. So I think Titus was very much a kind of an indie movie, where 300, while not the biggest budget, was... Let me just double check that.
While you're checking that, I have a fun fact for you. You said Buena Vista, which is like the proper way to pronounce it. We have a town here in Colorado called Buena Vista.
I've heard that.
And it is just so confusing to everybody of why it's called Buena Vista.
There's kind of a couple of things like that, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it offline.
I like Puget Sound.
That's for sure not how it's pronounced.
Oh, for sure. It's Puget.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure that you know that.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to find where the studio is. Yeah, Warner Brothers. I was right. We can edit all that out. So it's fine. Yeah, so I think that for Warner Brother movies to just completely plagiarize a smaller studio's soundtrack, I think is crazy.
Is it plagiarism though? If they said
initially they didn't. They took Tyler and the studio to court and won. I think they settled it out of court.
The controversy.
So moving forward, for the entire soundtrack, even though some of it's unique, they have to credit Elliot Goldenthal for his work.
As they should.
Yeah. So it's just madness.
Interesting.
But I do love that music, and I don't mind that he plagiarized it, because it's synonymous for me with that movie, which has been around since I was 15. And I love it. I love the whole music. I love the whole vibe. I love the movie itself. And I haven't seen Titus, and I probably never will.
How did you feel about the sequel?
It's not great. It's not great at all. Have you seen Sin City?
I want to say yes, but I think it was one of the movies that I put on and then fell asleep.
That's fair enough. So I love Sin City. It's by the same.
Very similar vibes.
So they're both based on graphic novels.
Yes.
Novels by the same dude, Frank Miller. But
yes.
Zack Snyder did 300, and I'm going to say Robert Rodriguez did Sin City. No, yeah, Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller himself directed Sin City. Now, the reason why I bring it up is because the sequel for Sin City is very good. And they recast Clive Owen as, what's his name? Thanos, Josh Brolin, which was a good recasting. But the sequel to 300, and Eva Green is in it, and I don't really know anyone else in it. And Lena Headey, I always get her name wrong, who was in the first one, the queen in the first one, she comes back. Leonidas doesn't because he's dead.
Right.
But I think it could have been... Yeah, sorry, fans. That's nearly 20 years old. My God.
If you still have not seen 300 by now,
go back in time and don't listen to this podcast.
Your own fault.
Yeah. Anyway, no, this is the big famous scene.
Go back. No, still listen to the podcast, but go back in time, watch it, and then come back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And maybe our downloads
prevent some worldwide disasters and things like that. But do watch 300 before this show. But yeah, so I think that it was just poor. And I don't know if The Rise of an Empire was based off a graphic novel. But I know the other stories, it was a lot more cohesive and sequely in Sin City's case.
Yeah. You know, it's rare for a sequel to get released, made,
greenlit.
Sure.
Not this day. Not these days.
And well, yeah, no.
Now they're only doing sequels.
If you'd let me finish my sentence, it's rare for a. Dang it! It's rare for a sequel to match up to the original.
It's rare. It's very rare.
Yeah.
But he's making a TV show now, Zack Snyder.
Ooh. About what?
About 300, set in the same universe. Yeah. Yeah, about the Romans this time. No, he's doing it about the.
Take another crack at Batman.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind that. Did you see?
Don't get me started on
Zack Batman.
Yes.
Did you see Rebel Moon?
No.
Oh, it was so bad.
Snyder gal.
I know. I used to be, and then I realized that he's just too touch and go.
No, keep going. Keep going.
No one hear your thought.
No, I was gonna change the subject.
Okay. Yeah, don't do that just yet. Rebel Moon to me was awful. It was basically a story he pitched to the Star Wars crew, looking to when they were remaking them, like back in 12 years ago. And they said no. And I can see why. And then Netflix bought it off him. And it's just really bad, really poor. Anyway, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, I think there's a very, okay, no. Well, do you find that you gravitate towards specific directors for movies? Like if you see that a director is putting out a movie, you'll be like, oh, I have to go see it. I love their work.
Do now, because for the longest time, like 2/3 of my life, I didn't understand the significance of a director being involved in a movie. I thought it was all about the actors. But then I realized that
makes sense.
The actors do, unless it's a lot more collaborative, but they show up and they act as opposed to what goes on behind the scenes with writers and producers.
Direction.
And get direction. Exactly.
From the director.
It's like puppet from the puppet master.
Yeah.
Now I would though. Now I would.
Who is one of those for you?
Christopher Nolan, obviously. I'm queuing up for that dude.
That's a classic answer.
It is. It's unfortunate, but he is my favorite because I think he just. Because then I went to see Megalopolis, which we've talked to, not in this show, and we can do it again. So it's not very musically focused, but I was like, oh, Francis Ford Coppola, made some of the most epic movies in the 70s, and I don't know what it was that I saw, but it wasn't a cohesive, coherent,
interesting,
good movie.
I
So
would say in general, I don't really care who directs, with the exception that I love a good Tim Burton movie. Not necessarily him as a person, but I just have always loved his movies. Because we have talked about my love for Danny Elfman. And I really think that my love for Tim Burton movies is really my love for Danny Elfman. But do you know, if I see that Guy Ritchie is coming out with a movie, I'm there. I'm in it. And this has been like a recent discovery where I have seen like multiple Guy Ritchie movies without really realizing that it's Guy Ritchie. And I decided, I think after The Gentleman, I was like, you know what? I think I'm a Guy Ritchie gal. I just think that he's one of my favorite directors. He's awesome. Just really enjoy his work.
He made a movie in 2023 called Operation Fortune, which I had to turn off because it was so bad.
Oh, really?
It wasn't good at all. But I love The Gentleman and I love the TV show spin-off, and he's made some great ones. He's made some really, really great ones. Rock and roll.
Jason Statham? Okay, how is this not good? Okay, I need to watch it because now I need to know why it's not good. Because Aubrey Plaza, Jason Statham, Hugh Grant.
What's his name? Handsome man. Josh Hartnett.
He is a handsome man.
He breaks my heartness. Yeah, we went off there.
But it's still entertaining.
Today is a slightly shorter episode because we're just both such busy professionals.
We got to wrap this up because we're starting to go downhill again.
Yeah, it's best to just wrap it up.
So the 2 tracks discussed in this episode.
Yes.
Returns a King 300.
By Tyler Bates, who has the same birthday as me.
Birthday twins. And then
Test Drive from How to Train Your Dragon.
Wait, when's John Powell's birthday?
Shout out to John Powell.
Wouldn't that be insane?
John Powell Gautier.
And I had wouldn't it be insane if he and I had the same birthday?
That would be insane.
That would be wild.
And is it the case?
No.
Bit off.
September. Isn't it weird to say it on there? September 18th.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's public information.
Yeah.
He just had his lovely birthday there. So, John, if you're listening, happy belated.
Happy 61st.
And Tyler, I'll see you in summer, man. Cool. What do you want to do next week? What's the theme?
I would really love to talk about female composers.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that I have one in mind.
Yeah, I have a couple. I have a couple that I will choose.
Good for you. Oh, dang it. No, I also have a couple. I think we're going to have to do like multiple. We have themes, and I feel like there's so many good options for every single one of our themes that this is not going to be a show where you get one theme and then we're done.
No, I think we can have recurring themes, much like how they exist in musical pieces. Yeah. Should have been the name of the show, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, it's set in stone now.
Recurring themes?
Yeah. Recurring themes with Cam and Christelle. Or Christelle and Cam. Anyway.
Should that be the title of this episode, Recurring Themes?
We can do that.
Thanks for listening to the Soundtrack Exchange. If you want to listen to the tracks discussed this week or any previously released episode, check out the playlist linked in the show notes. And if you enjoy this podcast, share it with someone you know and leave a review.
Also, if you have some soundtrack themes and topics that Christelle and I should explore, feel free to email us with your suggestions. If it's chosen, we'll be sure to give you a shout out.
Until next time, we out!